People overestimate your wealth when they read Mike Ashley's worth X amount of billions. Do they actually believe that's what you carry around in your pocket? And can you understand why fans think, well, why isn't Mike buying us £100 million player? Why is he 50 million?
Yeah, it's very, very difficult to get the scale in football. So if you sort of say to me, well, I'm wealthy, okay, in theory I'm a whatever billionaire, maybe a multi-billionaire. But in reality, my wealth is in Sports Direct shares that, as I said the other week, are the same as wallpaper. I don't have that cash in the bank. So I don't have that ability to write a cheque for 200 million. I don't have it. It's very simple. It's not there. I would have to sell the Sports Direct shares to fund that. So people outside of football looking in, and the way sometimes it's portrayed is that those sort of wealth terms are in the bank. They're not. And I've got to make it crystal clear, I am nowhere near wealthy enough in football now to compete with the likes of Man City, etc. Not just Man City, where basically it's a wealthy individual taking on what is equivalent of countries. I cannot and I will not. Yeah, and that's why if somebody currently would like to come along and take this seat and sit here and fund Newcastle with a naught on the end with their wealth more than me, I will not stand in Newcastle United's way. And one of the reasons I'm doing this interview is I don't think you'll find there's many people out there who will actually stand up and do it. So I think the Newcastle fans are we're going to be together for a good while.
All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
All right, here we go. We're back again on the other side of the coin. Ladies and gentlemen, really, really good to have you guys here on a Friday. Wherever you guys are, all over the world, let us know where you're tuning in from. I can already see quite a few people here. Yupped Up is here. Roby is here. Thank you so much, Roby, for being here. Frederick is here. Justice is here. It's quite late here in Sydney, 11:34 p.m. I'm sure it's getting closer to evening in India, where Ishan is. In Europe, in London at the moment, it's in the afternoon. And probably in the American areas, it's probably early morning. So Roby is tuning in from Bangladesh. Daniel's just tuned in. Newcastle deserves this. Shingo, how you doing, my man? Really good to see you guys. Smash the like button straight away. And we've got an interesting stream. We're going to break this down. But more importantly, we're really going to talk about how it's going to impact, I suppose, the Premier League and some of the clubs. And what does it mean in terms of, is Newcastle going to win the Premier League in the next whatever, seasons? Are they going to be a force in Europe? Are they going to pay overs for the players that they're going to buy? What about their wage structure? So many things to talk about. But before we do all of that, Ishan, my boy, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. First of all, I thought international break is going to be boring, but here's a bomber by us from Saudi Arabia, specially designed for Newcastle United.
I hope no one takes that in a literal way. A bomb from Saudi Arabia.
No offense whatsoever, but yeah, the whole football world is taken in a shock now, and it's an interesting topic. First of all, very, very happy for Newcastle fans, and they deserve, the fan base deserves this. But yeah, there are nitty-gritties as well, and it'll be interesting to break this down.
No, 100%, man. Newcastle fans, I've seen it in social media. People have seen it in Twitter. People have seen it in many other places like Facebook and whatnot. They've done it tough, they seem like such a passionate bunch. Like they are true Newcastle followers. But you've just seen the little clip as we started from Mike Ashley. He's just not in a position to compete with some of the big dogs like your Man Cities and us, Chelsea. He just doesn't have that level of money, as rich as he is. It is what it is. He's been able to sell it. That's what he said. And the deal is now done and dusted. Saudi Arabian-led consortium, public investment fund group, has taken over. Let's get to know a little bit about this whole situation. Sean's done a whole heap of homework, so it's going to be great to hear from him exactly, who this group is, the money behind it, how it's all happened. Then I want to play another clip from Simon Jordan from TalkSport. That's going to be the biggest topic that we want to talk from a Chelsea perspective. What does it mean and why not? But before we do that, Ishan, take it away, my man. Tell us about this deal, how it's happened, who they are, what's going on.
Right. So Mike Ashley, who's now the ex-owner of Newcastle United, was the owner of this club for 14 years, and 14 long years. For Newcastle fans, it was 14 torturous years. They did not like the tenure of Mike Ashley for a bit. Now, here's the thing. There's a certain personnel called Amanda Stively, if I've not butchered the surname.
Amanda Stively. Yeah,
Stively, yeah. So she is a businesswoman. She's from England itself. She's a Yorkshire born, if I'm not wrong, and she is now the chief executive officer of PCP Capital. PCP Capitals is the company's name. PCP Capital Partners, which is basically a Dubai or a Qatar fund based company which is owned by the Stevilis, and Amanda Stevely is the owner of that club, which is a joint partner of the consortium. Now, she came here and tried to buy Newcastle back. Starting from 2017, she tried to buy Newcastle United, and in 2017, Mike Ashley just turned down the whole deal. Mike Ashley did not like Amanda Stevely's deal, and he turned it down. And at that time he called it a waste of time, and it was just did not happen. Now again in 2019, the talks broke again about Amanda Stevely, initiated all of these things. Now I'll be talking about Amanda Stevely a little bit more, but let's just look at how Newcastle phased away with this. So Amanda Stevely comes in back again in 2019, along with, now she had lots of contacts with the Saudis and the Arabians and out there in the Middle East. She has a lot of contacts, and also with her company there. So she's got a huge amount of contact there. And then along with the PIF, which is, like you said, the Public Investment Fund, which basically is owned by the government of Saudi Arabia. Right now, they together came up and planned to buy Newcastle United. That could have been done back in 2019, but the problem arose regarding there were many issues there. There was broadcasting issues, there were human rights issues, and all of those stuffs. There were many issues which led to bundle out. This deal did not went down, or else back in 2019 or near about 2020, even the previous year, this deal could have been done. Newcastle could have been sold back then. But talking about the issues, just to highlight a little bit more on the issues, Newcastle Premier League was not being broadcasted in Saudi Arabia. Why? Because Qatar-based a network broadcaster channel, which is beIN Sports, whatever you call BEIN Sports, used to broadcast, had the authority to broadcast the Premier League in Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabia banned beIN Sports, which is a Qatar-based company, because of the country's diplomacy and all those.
Right. Because both the countries had issues politically.
Yes, political issues, diplomatic issues. Qatar and Saudi Arabia did not go well. Henceforth, Saudi Arabia banned beIN Sports in their country. Hence, Premier League could not be, broadcasted in Saudi Arabia, and due to that, there were so many illegal broadcastings in Saudi Arabia. That led to offended action from Saudi Arabia, and that by virtue of that, Premier League took actions on Saudi Arabia and banned Premier League there completely. Why? Because they started to broadcast Premier League in an illegal way. Right?
And apparently they used to call it Be Out Sports. So you got Be In, and they used to call it Be Out.
Be Out Sports, yeah. So that was the thing, and that led to a huge fall down, and the deal could not happen back in 2019, right? Now, it took a couple of years to settle down between the Saudis and the Qataris, the political, all those disputes settled down, and now I think so that's settled down quite well. The Premier League and Saudi Arabia issue was not a big deal. When you've got money in your hand, it's not a big deal, right? A little bit of money, and then boom, you're gone, you're all settled. So maybe now Premier League and Saudi Arabia is all good, right? No bans whatsoever. Now, since these things are gone, right, are all settled,
Yeah.
Then comes Amanda Steveley, initiated this whole thing, and took this took this took the whole system into in charge, and then she came up with this. But Premier League came up and said that, all right, now let's talk about the consortium a little bit before.
Yeah.
What Premier League said is, consortium is basically an association of multiple entities, basically
Right.
companies, you can say, or
I've always wanted to
organizations.
know what this consortium was all about.
Yeah,
So this will be
it's a
interesting.
simple meaning. It's just association or combination of multiple entities, be it organizations, be it any company, or be it any kind of government. Let's say government, even government works. Consortium just means combination or coming together, right? That's what consortium means. Now, who are inside these consortium? It's not just Saudi Arabians. Not just Saudi Arabians. Consortium who bought Newcastle United, it's a combination of three entities. One is the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, which is owned by the government of Saudi Arabia. Two is the PCP Capital Partners, who is owned by the Steveleys, who Amanda Steveley being the chief executive officer then. And third one is the RB Sports Media, which is owned by the Reuben brothers, right? So these three entities combined together makes the consortium, and these three together, they own Newcastle Football Club now, right? How much? Now, the Public Investment Fund, owned by Saudi Arabian government, owns Newcastle 80%, and the other two, which is the PCP and RB Sports and Media, own 10% each, right? So 80 to 10 to 10. That's the ratio of how these owners own this company. Now, Premier League comes up, and along with the human rights disputes and everything, and those dispute and issues which was resolved earlier, which said about the illegalities of broadcasting, looking everything into a perception, they said that, all right, Public Investment Fund is owned by the Saudi Arabian government, and they are money, right? They mean money, and that's gonna dispute a lot of things. So Premier League came up and said that they are not going to own they're not going to control Newcastle Football Club. That's what Premier League said. The Saudi Arabian government cannot come and say that we own and we control Newcastle Football Club. That's not going to happen. You're an owner. You're basically going to act as a shareholder and nothing else. So now you can see, Miss, Newcastle Football Club is owned by the consortium, but they're controlled by Amanda Steveley's company, which is the PCP Capital Groups and Reuben Brothers. So basically, the board of directors of Newcastle Football Club and the board of operations, the board of operations and the board of directors will be appointed under Amanda Steveley's company and Reuben Brothers' company, but not the PIF, right? The PIF is just acting as a shareholder.
Let's be honest. At the end of the day, the PIF have 80%.
They have money, right? They have money.
So
the money influx will come out.
And they'll make the ultimate decision from the back. Amanda's just the face up front. Do you know what I mean?
100. She's just controlling things, but we all know down the line that 80% of the football club is owned by the Saudis, right? The PIF, and the rest 20% is owned by this. Now, that's the thing. This is how it happened. Amanda, Steveley, she took the opportunity. Mike Ashley was already in a mud. Newcastle not performing well. She took the opportunity and resolved. After this whole issue was resolved back there between the Saudis and the Qataris and the Premier League, they came together, took the opportunity, right? And just here we are with 320 million pounds is the amount how they bought Newcastle United.
And Mike Ashley, it was about 320.
Around that.
They're saying about 300 million pounds.
Yeah, let's say 300 million pounds takeover, and that's it. We've got new owners, and yes, it's correct. 320 billion pounds is the money that they have, the net worth that these guys have, and I think so. After somewhat I researched, Miss, you see that carefully. Yeah, Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund is just one of the three owners, and that's their net worth. Combining the other two owners, it's going to be more. So keep that in mind. Yeah,
it's incredible, bro.
Keep that in mind. I mean, yes, this is just the Saudi money, but not to forget the consortium is consisting of two more owners, which is the Reuben Brothers Media Sports
My
and also the
days.
PCP.
So you're saying
Capital.
this is just Saudi Arabian public investment. This is just them, 320 billion.
Just
so
the
then there's the other two
PIF.
groups.
There's PCP, Capital Partners, and RB Sports and Media. Imagine
Money should
the
not be a
amount
problem.
of money they've got. Imagine the amount of money they've got.
At the end of the day, Ishan, money should not be a problem. That's for sure. First of all, Ishan, thank you so much for breaking this whole thing down. So many people in the live chat has been appreciative of this because, not anyone has been able to break it down the way you have. So I do appreciate that. Live chat, smash the like button. We've got nearly 40 people. Smash the like button. This is where now we are going to talk about the Chelsea fans' reaction. I really want to hear from you guys. I'm going to play a clip from Simon Jordan from Talk Sports. And then off the back of that, I want us to really think about what does it mean, not just for Chelsea, for Europe, for the Premier League and whatnot. So let's play the clip. So we've understood the situation. We've understood that a particular group, Saudi-led group, has taken over Newcastle. Newcastle, congratulations. You're going to get a lot of money. However, let's now get to the nitty-gritty. Let's check this out.
Fans will say it's a great day, and for Newcastle it's a great day in the same way it was a great day for Man City, in the same way it's a great day for Chelsea, in the same way it's a great day for PSG. The reason why I say it's not a great day for football is it brings in a new situation where hyperinflation will come to pass, because Newcastle will come in with owners that have 320 billion worth, not the 23 billion that the poor Sheikh Mansour has by comparison, the 320 billion worth they have. They come in with a business that financially has been in relatively decent nick because Mike Ashley hasn't run it at a loss for years. So they've got 3 years now that they can smash out of the transfer market without having any complications around financial fair play. Because Mike will probably, even though the losses are there from the COVID situation and there hasn't been any spend from Mike this year, besides Joe Willock, because of that, previously they've been making 30-40 million quid a year. So they're in profit. Right, so that means the 105 million worth of losses over 3 years, the Saudis haven't got to do anything or worry about anything for 3 years and worry about the consequence of it in 3 years' time.
So are others around the country worried in the other boardrooms this morning?
Listen, they'll accept the landscape in the same way they've accepted it with Man City. They didn't want it. No one's going to vote for someone to come and compete with you if you can help it. But this idea that there's a big six, the same lawyer that represents Amanda Staveley represents the big six in their battle against the ESL sanctions. But don't be under any illusion how this all hangs together. But this represents a situation where the ecosystem of football becomes challenged again, because you're going to drive up the prices, because Newcastle isn't a natural destination for the world's best footballers. I'm not sort of talking about geography, but when you've got the perception in footballers' minds about where they're going to land, Chelsea in London, Manchester United or Man City, and now Newcastle, and you're going to find there's going to be an element of hyperinflation. To get the best players into Newcastle, they're going to have to pay a premium to start with. That will then drive up the price for everybody else across the Premier League, drive up wages because they have to pay players more wages to come to Newcastle whilst they realise that Newcastle is building to a powerhouse. But people don't see the vision sometimes until the vision arrives, and they won't care they've got these billionaire owners until they've got a proper team. And then when you start buying Mbappe or whoever else they think they're going to buy, you will drive up the price because wages will go up, and that's the worry that I have. But for Newcastle fans, I've never, ever said, why shouldn't they have this? Why shouldn't they have a big set of owners? Why are Man City more entitled or Chelsea?
All right, there's a lot of information there from Simon Jordan and some really, really key things to touch upon. Now, before we talk about, their Premier League winning aspirations, Europe aspirations, how long is it going to take them? Can they disrupt the top four and all not? Ishan, I want to have a conversation with you. And the live chat, this is what I want to know from you guys. Simon Jordan talked about a few things, and let's talk about this. First of all, really want to talk about the financial fair play, Ishan. A lot of people getting worried about that. How's Newcastle going to do this? Financial fair play is not going to just allow them to inject the money. Simon Jordan said Newcastle have not been making a loss for the past few seasons. It's just obviously in the COVID time, they've made a little bit of loss, but prior to that, they've not really invested so much. And they've just been making, whatever money they make from merchandise sales, from, stadium seats, in match day sales and whatnot. So they've actually been in positive. So, Ishan, let's start from the financial fair play. As Simon Jordan said, they've got 3 years to basically pump as much money as they can, and then they can start, working on bringing the books back to balance. I mean, Ishan, they could seriously pump a lot of money into this club and not just buy players. I think it's important to understand you need to have the whole setup correct. You need to have the infrastructure, the training facilities, maybe academies, managers, backroom staff, all sorts of technologies and whatnot is needed to run as a big club. They can do all of that, Ishan. I mean, this is not, a lot of people are saying that, oh, nah, man, I mean, it's going to take them a long time, so on and so forth. But these Saudi Arabian led sort of group, they're not going to be shy to make things happen quick, right?
Yeah, 100%. And you know, I've heard you talk about the Saudi Arabians and all you can eat as well. I've seen that episode, and it's 100% true. They won't step back. You know,
They
it's an
don't mess
investment.
around, bro. They don't
They
mess
don't,
around.
and especially, Miss, this is a consortium. It's not you know, a entity owned by a single body or a single person or a single company. It's a consortium. Three companies combined together, three entities combining together to own a club. More money influx, more results, and the decisions will be quick. Now, Newcastle United already have a great stadium. They've got a great fan base already. What else do they need? They just need to, maybe, yes, they need to start from a scratch, but it's just the internal matters that they need to start from scratch. And I don't think so that's going to take that much time, right? If the infrastructure was lagging, then yes, maybe yes. But yes, if you talk about the internal matters, that will be sorted very quickly. It'll be sorted very quickly. I'm talking about the in charges, the people in charges, or the employees inside the NUFC, the whole club. The employee is going to be changed easily, and everything. Training has to be done from the scratch. We all know that, you know, Chelsea, Man City, after you know, the big owners took over, it was the training facilities and the academy where they invested so much, and it's producing for us so much now. Not for just Chelsea. Look for Man City as well. They're doing great with their academies and their young ones, the young players coming out of there. So they definitely know that they have to nurture their academy players and their training grounds and their women team as well. That's an important part as well, and they will do that, I think so, regardless of whatever you know, whatever fingers raised in human rights and all those stuff. They will do that, because at the end of the day, Newcastle United is an England team and will remain for England as well. You know, it's not gonna get shifted to Saudi Arabia or so. No, it's gonna remain in England, and everything is gonna go good there. Now, the thing is, it's not gonna be so fast. It's not that today Saudi Arabians took over and tomorrow, boom, changed. No, absolutely not. It's gonna take time. It doesn't matter. Yes, I mean, I believe that money can change everything, and if they want, they can do that. You know, I've heard Yunus as well talk in your show that if they want, the owner says, just take away 50 billion pennies from my pocket and then just change this thing in 1 year. It can be done, but there is a process. There's a step-by-step process, right? If they go crazy, it might be done. You should not be surprised. But I think so. This takes time, because you don't want to take decisions so quick that it might backfire on you sometimes. So it'll be very cautious, gradual steps, step by step. But one thing that I've read from some research, I mean, from some reports, is that they are ready to invest 200 million pounds immediately on the club. Immediately, 200 million pounds. And maybe that's an indication on the January transfer window. You never know. Is that an indication for the academy? Is that an indication for the training ground or the training sessions, whatever it is? You never know. But 200 million pounds is reported or leaked to be invested by the owners immediately for the welfare of the club. Now, like you said, money is there. It's not a problem. Money is there. They'll have their problems solved. Instantaneously. And I think so it'll take time, but you will see the effect. Maybe if not this January transfer window, maybe next summer transfer window, you're definitely going to see a big signing in Newcastle United. Definitely, for sure.
Well, for sure, a top manager will be coming in. I mean,
100.
Steve Bruce is finished. I'm surprised that he's still there.
I think so. He's already given up, because he's told the statement that I don't want to lose my job, but I have to be realistic. That's what he told.
I have to be realistic. I generally go for relegation battle teams. Look, I mean, let's talk a little bit about this before we touch on the other points, the ecosystem of football and inflation, which is important. I mean, Ishan, they have to get, with the backing that they've got now, they have to get a big time manager. Newcastle's in a bit of a mud at the moment. They're like 19th in the table. They're in relegation zone at the moment. They need to make sure that they get out of this. I think the last thing they'd want is to get relegated. So they need to change this ASAP. Steve Bruce needs to be removed. Yeah. They need to bring in a new manager. Who do you think, from your perspective, and to the live chat as well, what is a realistic manager for Newcastle at the moment? Obviously, Antonio Conte is in the market. Zinedine Zidane's in the market. I at first thought, why would these managers want to go to Newcastle? At first, I was like, they're 19th. You need to. That's a battle. You need to bring them up. At least somehow avoid relegation. But then I was thinking, Ishan, they will probably throw so much salary to this manager. It will be ridiculous. Now, see, this is the thing. Someone's saying Frank Lampard, and I've seen this in social media. I beg you, Frank, do not do this. Don't do this, Frank. Frank, you will be absolutely mauled because they are looking to go and win stuff in a few years' time, in my perspective. And I don't know if Frank Lampard's the right manager for that. But Ishan, from your perspective, who do you think is available? Who would take this opportunity? Who can probably make sure they can avoid relegation and then really kickstart a bit of a chase next season and then the season after, as they start solidifying, buying more players, really start challenging for top 4, top 6 at least, and then kick on from there? Who do you think is available, man?
Yeah, first of all, I think so. You just hit the nail on the head by saying that I think so. Manager is the most important person they should invest on right now, because just like you said, they're in a relegation battle at this point of time. Although we know the fact that it's very early in the season, but then we know that it's not good to be on 19th position any time of the season. It's just not good to be there, right? And anywhere in that area, you're in a relegation battle and you need to get out of there. Now, I think so for this season, the remaining part of the season, manager would be the person who will they invest on, and the most. It may be anybody, but for them, it's so important to stay in the Premier League for this season, because if they get relegated, they go back 2 years. They just
they'll smoke the championship. They'll absolutely
now,
smoke it.
The thing here is, if they get relegated, I don't think so. It doesn't matter the money. I don't think so any big player would want to go to Newcastle.
Yeah, big players won't want to go there.
Championship. So it perpetually takes them 2 years back, because they know that they're not going to have a signing. They're definitely not going to have a signing this year. Maybe if they do 1 or 2 out of surprise, any maybe a goal digger comes up to the team.
January,
it might happen.
They should get at least 1 or 2. At least
they should, they might. But the thing here is, if they get relegated, they're not getting big players, regardless of the money. They're not getting big players. None of the big players would want to come and play in the championship. I mean, it's just a waste.
True.
So they go 2 years back, right?
Yeah.
They need to battle the championship side out. They need to come to the Premier League and then challenge for something big. And once they come to the Premier League, then is the season they would want to try to buy new season, but without any aspirations, without any European tournaments, without any top 4 aspirations. They would have to play that season. So it takes them back 2 years, 2 seasons gone. So for them, is the first priority to take a big manager now. And you never know, Antonio Conte might just pop out and say, look, money is there. The project might look good 3-4 years down the line. The project might look very, very good. Let me just go and have my take there. Zidane, I don't know. Maybe he's aspiring to manage France internationally. I don't know. Maybe Joachim Low turns up and says, let's do something different. Let's go to the black and whites. Maybe that might happen. So the thing
Antonio Conte is a big shout. Like,
it is a big shout.
He would love this project, knowing the amount of money he could spend next season And this season, I'm sure he'll turn that Newcastle team, 3 at the back, the wing backs, strikers up front with Callum Wilson if he's fit.
Also, Miss, we know that Conte is how much demanding from the boards as well. We've seen so many times the dispute of Conte and the board, with Chelsea going to the court, and now with Inter Milan, it just didn't work because Inter Milan were,
But you know what? Conte's a manager that wants money. He wants backing. I don't think that'll be an issue for him here.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So he'll have his back from the board as well. So he'll get the players also that he wants, and for himself also the money that he deserves. So maybe he'll get balanced both of the sides, and maybe you might see Conte being the long-term manager for Newcastle. Might happen, just like Klopp is for Liverpool, just like Pep is for Sheikh Mansour. You might see Conte for the consortiums. Might happen.
100%. And you know what? I mean, Ishan, before we talk about the inflation and the ecosystem, because I think now it's timely to talk about that off the back of this. Conte, looking at the Newcastle team, Saint Maximin is a very good player.
Yeah.
Almiron is a very good player. Callum Wilson, if he's fit, can be quite good up front. I mean, Conte's got something to work with to avoid relegation. Do you know what I mean? Like he could do something then. Look at this comment here from Master Yoda. Conte can literally name his price and he's going to be loaded, man. Like literally he can say, I want to get paid, I don't know, X amount of money on a weekly basis. And they'll just say, okay, no problems. We'll get this happen for you. We'll do this for you. I mean, do you feel Conte has enough there to at least avoid relegation?
Yeah, I think so. That's a good question. People might think this people might underrate this question, but it is a good question. Why? Because Conte needs a good team, good team with good players. Newcastle is that a team that Conte? Yeah, I think so. If the aspirations or the objective of this season for Newcastle is just to avoid relegation, I think so. Conte can do that easily. I think so. Regardless, the players there are good players, man. Saint Maximin is just killing it. I mean, single-handedly, he's just
Saint Maximin's a top player, man.
He's a top player, and if Conte comes, definitely you should expect many players in January to come on. Maybe you might see a Martinez coming on. You never know.
He's got the links from Italy. He's got the links.
So it might happen. But if you say that if Conte comes, would Newcastle be relegated? Absolutely not. It would be just Conte there with whatever team he has would be enough to at least get out of the relegation battle.
And you know what? With Conte there, people will start taking Newcastle a little bit more seriously. They'll be like, wait a minute, like this is not a Mickey Mouse thing anymore. Do you know what I mean? This is Antonio Conte.
They'll take them more seriously than Ole and Man United. And
exactly. And that's Man United with Cristiano Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes as well. And the other thing about Antonio Conte is he's such a passionate manager. We know as Chelsea fans what a passionate manager he is. Yeah. He's going to get that fans. By the way, Newcastle's next game against Spurs is a sellout already. It's sold. Like apparently they were struggling to sell out the crowds at the ground because they just couldn't connect with the club anymore. And now all of a sudden new owners and it's a sellout. Let's talk about the the inflation and the ecosystem of the football that Simon Jordan was talking about. See, this is the thing, Ishan. Let's say Conte comes in and in January he's able to get 1 or 2 players. Okay? Ishan, let's be honest. No top players want to go to Newcastle. They will not want to go to Newcastle. Even if
not immediately. Yeah.
Not immediately. Even if Newcastle pulls themselves out of 19th and gets out of the relegation zone, this is the first problem, Ishan. And I want you to talk about this. And also the live chat. I would love to see what you guys have to say about this. They may not get the top of the top, like your Neymars and all of that. They won't get that. But even the next tier or the tier below, they will have to pay big money just to get them in. Do you know what I mean? We could start seeing, what's the second tier? Let's say for argument's sake, I'm just putting it out there, argument's sake. Let's say a player like Zaha.
Chiesa? Or a Chiesa maybe?
Or Chiesa. Chiesa is probably top range. But let's say Chiesa. Federico Chiesa, they're going to have to pay overs, one, in terms of transfer market fee to Juventus. So let's say Chiesa is worth, I don't know, £70 million for argument's sake. They may need to now pay Juventus 90 or 100 million just to get the deal across the board, because Juventus knows you got money. You have money and you want our player. You're paying at least.
The other clubs would just take this opportunity and just loot them, man.
Of course they would. Imagine you, Ishan, if you knew someone wants something from you and they've got money, you know you're going to ask for a lot of money. Okay, so that's one thing, that your transfer market, so players estimate their worth is going to get out of control. Then Federico Chiesa is going to say, well, I was getting paid X amount in Juventus. You're not going to have to give me 5 times that amount, because I was thinking about going to, I don't know, maybe a Chelsea, maybe a PSG, maybe a Man City. They're already in the Champions League. They're already battling for titles. I'm coming to you guys. You're not really battling for anything yet. You're going to have to give me a lot of money for me to come over. So the wages is going. Someone like Federico Chiesa could start earning more than, let's say, someone like who's the highest payer at Chelsea at the moment, Romelu Lukaku. He could earn something more than Romelu Lukaku. He could earn more than, let's say, Paul Pogba. Do you know what I mean? Like, Ishan, from that perspective, what do you think, Ben? That could really disrupt football in the next sort of immediate term.
Yeah, it does. And that's my concern. You know, I'm not concerned how strong is Newcastle going to be, and if Newcastle is going to challenge for the title race, if Newcastle is going to win the Champions League and what. I'm not concerned of that. I'm concerned of Newcastle being a monopoly and being a giant that, you know, just throws money and gets everything they want. And if they become, let's say, the Bayern Munich of Premier League, or let's say a Bayern Munich of maybe Europe, they have that money to do that. You know, buy everything, buy every big players, then they're getting that. That's possible. And that might, you know, trigger the other entities, maybe like a Perez and, you know, the other guys, the Glazers, the Kroenkes, and maybe Abramovich, you know, it might trigger. And I just fear that Super League thing, that just it might just pop up again. It might just pop up again, and I'm fearing that. That's my only fear regarding this whole monopoly thing. And otherwise, I'm not feared of Newcastle by any means. It will definitely, we might assume the fact that Newcastle is going to reach the heights of what Man City are at this point of time, but it took some years for Man City to reach this. You know, it's not just 100%. A matter of moments. And also, for Man City, regardless of the money they spend, Pep Guardiola is the man who's responsible for their, success. He is the man who's responsible for so many league titles and so many trophies won. I mean, he's a big part. And you don't get 2 Pep Guardiolas. You just get 1 Pep Guardiola.
You just get 1 Pep Guardiola. Yeah.
So it's for Newcastle's success, just conventional success, it's going to take time. And maybe
100%.
5 years, 6 years, 7 years, maybe 10 years. And they definitely will be improved from what they are at this point of time. They have to, because they've got the money, and they will, 10 years down the line, 7 years down the line, they might reach the level what we are, Man City are, Liverpool are at this point of time in terms of success rate. They will. That's fine. But the only concern is it should not trigger these wage structures, just like you said. They'll buy a player who might not, be perceived as a player who'd earn that much, but they would give him this much just because they want that big player. And immediately the next player who comes into the squad would ask for this much again.
Ask for the same. Yeah.
They won't go down. They'll ask for this much again. And the problem here is now is, if a player like, for example, Chiesa, goes there and asks for, let's say, for example, a 500 or 600K per week.
Yeah.
Right? It might happen. Now, what if Chiesa is, is being targeted by other clubs? Chiesa won't come back and here and take 100 and 200. He might again ask for a 500K per week. Will that club be able to give that? No. There you go. Monopoly. That's the problem here, because the thing that these guys can afford now might be, these guys might only be the ones who can afford this, and nobody else would be able to afford. And that's the problem here, because Perez might be thinking that, damn, if I want this guy in future, I might not be able to give this guy that much wages that these guys are giving them. So it's a problem. and that just disrupts the football wage structure that we so talk about so frequently in this show. But it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But yeah, I mean, this stage will come. I know this will come, and even that if they're going to sign a big player, they'll have to give a big wage, a larger wage comparatively, to show their prowess and to bring that player in the club. But will this happen immediately? Maybe not, but it's definitely going to come someday or the other.
No, 100%. I want to address football style. Football style is obviously from Saudi Arabia. He's mentioned it in the live chat. Really appreciate all the comments you've been providing. Football style, it's actually, providing a different point of view. Football style is saying that they're not dumb. They're not going to be throwing all that money. Here's what I have to say about that, though, football style. I don't think you're going to wait for a long time for success, though. I don't think these Saudi owners have come in and be like, we'll wait for 10 years till we win something. I don't think that's going to be the case, my man. I think personally, I think they'll want success within the next 3 years. 3 years is what they're going to want success in. And that makes sense. They're not going to dwindle around for 10 years to win something. Exactly. Now, you're talking about being smart and being smart with money. That takes a lot of structural change. You need a strong director, sporting director. At the moment in the Premier League, I can only see one solid sporting director, which is Liverpool. Liverpool makes some absolutely fantastic signings since their sporting director, I can't remember who that name is, alongside with Klopp. They've made some fantastic purchases, and it's worked wonders for them in the likes of Salah, Mane, Virgil van Dijk, Robertson, Alisson, Wijnaldum, Henderson, all of these. There were very few bad transfers. We are starting to make some good progress in our transfers as well. Ever since Peter Cech has come in, Mendy is one of the biggest examples. Thiago Silva is a very good example, but we've also made some really silly purchases as well. Now that Thomas Tuchel is here, hopefully we do the right thing. Even now with Saul, it's a loan option, but Ruben Loftus-Cheek is coming along the way. So it's very difficult to say that someone like Newcastle, they've just taken over, new owners, and they're going to be patient and they're going to be, making smart purchases. Man, smart purchases are tough to make. You need the right person to do that, first of all.
If you have the money, there isn't a problem there. And also, the biggest factor is it's not a single entity owning this football club. It's a consortium, combination of 3 companies or 3 entities owning this club. So a loss would not affect a single person. It would be just here and there losses from all the 3 entities combined together. So it won't hurt their pocket. It won't hurt one body's pocket much, right? So they will be there to take the risk all along, right? It won't be an issue to them.
And Ishan, do you remember when Roman took us over?
Yeah,
we bought a whole heap of players, man. Do you remember Jose Mourinho's first season? I remember he had like 9 or 11 signings or something like that. Something ridiculous. He had like a whole.
Abramovich was ready to buy Messi and Ronaldinho. I mean, what are we talking here?
Exactly. I remember Damien Duff. We had Crespo. We had XYZ. We just so many players.
As well, right? Shevchenko.
Yeah, down the track, Shevchenko. Jeremy. I remember there was a press conference and Mourinho was like with 7 other players that we've just signed. So don't be surprised, football style, that you guys will ball out. Like, you may not get the top of the top, but you will ball out, and you may have to pay overs to some of these players. Chelsea at that time were not in the Newcastle level where they were 19. Chelsea were still hovering around the top 6, 7th at max. They were there and thereabouts. So it wasn't that difficult to attract the players. Whereas Newcastle, I personally think it won't be that easy. Yeah. I mean, Ishan, let's be honest, and for football style as well, and for the rest of the live chat, not many players aspire to come to Newcastle. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's not like, I can't wait till I play for Newcastle. Now Newcastle has a new owner. Some players might think about this, but you do need to sell the project to them. And it's a difficult project to sell when you're 19. Now, I think as this particular Newcastle United supporter here, we need a new manager, then a spine. That's the important part. They need a solid manager first up. And even to back a solid manager football style, you'll have to pay overs.
Yeah.
You'll have to pay overs.
I think so. That's where the pennies are going majorly in this.
But what I'm trying to say, Ishan,
investment.
is football style thinks that, oh, we'll be smart, we're not going to throw money. You will have to throw money.
You will.
You will have to throw money.
Is there any reason of not throwing money? I mean, just bring out that page again. 320 billion for just what PIF for it's just one of the owners. That much money you've got, and you're thinking about not throwing money. It's gonna be money all over. It is gonna be. I mean, I know there are things that you need to rectify. There are some, your academy needs some resurrection there. Your women's team needs to have some uplifting there, and it needs betterment all along. Your support staff, ground staff, everything needs betterment there, and it's fine. But you've already got an infrastructure, so they might not need to invest on infrastructure much, where the majority part of the investment might happen. But you've already got a good, very good stadium, good infrastructure, and with lovely fans. That investment is saved. Now, what else left? Manager, players. That's it, and the ground staffs and the academy. That for them it's like just matter of pennies. I mean, they're just, and like I said, the league report says they're already planning to have an immediate investment of 200 million pounds, just immediate.
Put it this way, Sean, a top manager will not go to Newcastle without big money. Simple as that. I mean, Antonio Conte could go anywhere else, but for him to come to Newcastle, he needs money. Okay, let's now talk about, Ishan, what does it mean for the Premier League? What does it mean for us? What does it mean for City, Liverpool, Man United? Ishan, from your perspective, a couple of questions I want to ask you, and to the live chat as well. How long do you think it will take Newcastle to be, or to be a team that will disrupt the top 6 at least, and then slowly creep into top 4? I personally think it will take them about 1 to 3 seasons. Over the next 3 years, they'll properly become like a top 6 team. Who do you think? So that's the first question to you, Ishan. How long do you reckon it will take them to become that top 6, top 4, sort of fighting for that top 4 position? And then who are the teams that are in trouble from your perspective? That I personally think Arsenal and Spurs, forget about making it into Champions League. You will not see Champions League football ever again. Ever again. What do you think, Ishan?
Yeah, I think so. This is a good conversation as well. And also the time range of how much time will it take for them to really establish. Now, looking at the current scenario, Newcastle are in the relegation battle. And that's just what I said, just moments ago, that it's so important for Newcastle to just stay in the Premier League this season. It'll be their prime target to stay in the Premier League this season, and that's where they're going to invest on managers. I believe that the prime investment is going to be on the managers, because a good manager might just take this team over the line, at least above the relegation battle, and just keep them in the Premier League. Now, once that happens, I think so the other teams at this point of time I'm not sure they're going to be much concerned about Newcastle. Yes, the money is there. Investment's going to come, but they're not going to just shuffle the whole 11. Just take the whole 11 apart, put it in the bin, new 11.
You can't.
You cannot do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
they've all got contracts. I'm pretty sure, like long-term contracts.
Yeah, there are legalities, there are contracts, and you cannot disrupt that. There is a process. Chill. I mean, at this point of time, no one is finished. Yeah, there are legalities.
Only Steve Bruce is finished.
Yeah, Steve Bruce, he's done. But yeah, I mean, there will be changes, there will be betterments, but they cannot just shift whole playing 11 and bring in a brand new playing 11. Every player is running under contracts now. Yes, there are many contracts which are down the line getting expired, and there are big players, and that's what they're going to try to target. But a question comes, and what you said, would they want to come in Newcastle at this point of time where they're into the relegation battle? I don't think so. That's quite difficult to understand, that a Dybala would want to come in Newcastle, a Kaiser would come into Newcastle and play in the championships. No, this is definitely going to take them maybe 1-2 signings which are quite famous that might happen maybe in January or maybe in the next transfer window if they survive in the Premier League. But it's going to take them time. At least I think so 2 seasons. Maybe this this season, if they survive,
They need
and
to
the
see
next
this season. They need to survive this.
then yeah,
Next season, I think they'll buy one or two very good
right,
players, and their ambition will be at least close to the top 6.
yeah.
Season after, I
Season
think
after.
they'll
Season after
really,
might be a little bit of a rampage and might be a
yeah.
concern for Arsenal and Tottenham. But for this season and next season, I think so. It's still chill because there are legalities and you need to go step by step gradually. There are going to be players there. There are going to be new managers there. But I don't think so. You're gonna just directly go and win Premier League or maybe just barge into top 4. It might happen, but chances are very low, right? So there are teams who are walking the backsides out. Yeah.
Do you think though, Ishan, that over time, say maybe 5 years,
Yeah.
can you picture them breaking into the top 4, being in the Champions League, challenging for Premier League titles as well?
If in next 5 years, Newcastle is definitely going to be the next big thing, and if in the next 5 years, Daniel Levy does not sell Tottenham, and the Arsenal Kroenke does not sell Arsenal, they're gonna have to fight the relegation battle. They're gonna be where Newcastle is at this point in time. Let's be serious.
Can you imagine?
Listen, I see every team getting better, slowly and steadily making, and Newcastle just
Aston Villa's getting better, bro.
yeah, Newcastle just rocketed themselves up now into the contingent of getting better and one of those big boys in the coming years. If these two do not improve their system, I'm not saying the team, they need to improve their system. If the system does not improve, Arsenal and Tottenham, I don't know. I'm not sure if they're going
in trouble, bro. In trouble, bro. If they don't think quick,
it'll be surprising to see them in the top 10, even if they try really hard. Because the other teams, I can definitely name 10 teams who are better than them.
Personally, Ishan, I don't think we should be worried too much. City, they shouldn't be worried. I mean, they are always smart. They know what needs, and City are now building a really strong sort of legacy under Pep Guardiola. Obviously,
even City is backed by Sheikh Mansour, so they should not.
Backed by Sheikh Mansour. It'll be interesting to see what happens with City when Pep leaves, because he's kind of hinted that he won't stick around. So there could be a shift there. Thomas Tuchel, hopefully, I pray, that stays with Chelsea for a long time. I know we don't do managers for too long either. I hope he stays. And Roman, he loves Chelsea too much, and he's going to throw the money, and we should be able to do that. Do you think Man United and Liverpool? I mean, Liverpool, I feel like they're where they are is a lot to do with Klopp. If Klopp goes, I think this Liverpool team will decline again. And it's not like Liverpool spends a lot of money; they really don't.
Well, yeah.
So I'm thinking, who knows? Maybe Newcastle could get Klopp, come over to Newcastle.
Yeah, that might happen.
But are you worried about Liverpool or Man United? I mean, Man United, as long as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is there, they're not winning anything, man. And right now, they're probably going to struggle for top 4 as all the way they're going at the moment. I mean, are you worried about Liverpool or Man United?
Just like you said, if Klopp leaves Liverpool, it's going to be shaky for them. Liverpool is a team who really scout good players, really scout very good, and they bring up top talents, and they need a great manager to nurture these top talents into world-class players, and that's exactly what Jurgen Klopp did for Liverpool for years now. And if Klopp leaves, they might have to find a world-class manager again. So I'm not saying that they're going to have a decline. Again, if the same process of Liverpool Football Club continues, where they just scout the best players and just make them world-class players, and with a good manager, they will be fine. I think so they'll be good. But if they don't do well with the managers, it might be a little bit of trouble for them. Man United, I think so this team is very, very strong. They just need a good manager, and they're not realizing that.
They just need a good manager, And you know what, Ishan? If they don't get Conte now...
it's going to be troubles for them. Yeah, that's exactly. I don't think so. Man United should be worried because they do spend. I think so. They do spend on players, and they have spent. I mean, irrespective of the fact that the fans protesting about
they just
about
need a
owners.
manager. You're right. They just need a manager.
I mean, there are players who came in and big name players, and United as a club of legacy. I mean,
Rafael Varane. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's come in. Sancho has come in. Ronaldo has returned. So
They're a
yeah,
player. They're a team who do spend, and they do spend well, and they just do need a manager to just click in, and they'll be in the conversation of a Premier League title. So I don't think so. It might be a problem for United. If they do get a good manager, I think so they'll be fine. Liverpool, again, the manager factor. Klopp, how long he stays and how well he does. But until then, 3, 4, 5 years, I agree with you. Neither of these big clubs should worry, except for the other London clubs. They're going to be in the mud.
yeah, man. Look, it's not that easy. I was saying in Matisse's channel yesterday. If you guys haven't seen it, go check that out in Matisse's channel. All You Can Eat Chelsea. I was saying that when we took over at Chelsea a long time ago, back in early 2000s, there weren't that many strong teams in the Premier League fight. It was really Arsenal, Man United at that time were the big dogs. No other teams were really, Man City wasn't there yet. It was Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man United were the big players at that time. So it wasn't that difficult for us to, get in on it. Whereas now, it's not that easy for Newcastle. You got a City that are strong. You got Chelsea that's very strong. Man United, Liverpool are very strong. Then you've got all these other middle teams, Ishan, Aston Villa, Leicester. Yeah, they're going a bit down, but still they're strong. It's not that easy that you can just dominate straight away. You do need to, it's going to take a bit of time. We found success like that. Do you know what I mean? Because it was at that point, there wasn't any big dog, not that many big dogs, and Roman pumped in the money.
Also, the manager, Jose Mourinho came.
Jose Mourinho. Wow.
And that was Jose Prime.
That
Jose.
was Jose Prime, 100%.
And it depends on who Newcastle selects as the manager. And that's going to be the most important factor for Newcastle's success.
That's the biggest important factor for Newcastle. Number one, the manager. If they can absolutely downpack a manager, then that's his first start. Now, I want to address this one from Roby. Ishan, I want to see what you think. Liz, do you think they will try to buy with the 200 million investment that has been stated in the media? Who do you think they'll try to buy? Manager. I mean, manager, of course, but besides that, if I'm thinking about a couple of players here and there, who comes in your mind, Ishan? Who do you think could be someone that they could lure to come? I'm thinking they might try and get like a Premier League proven player. I feel like some of the Premier League
it's going to be difficult to hunt a big player in January transfer window.
It's
going to be difficult. So, eventually they have to wait till the summer transfer window to sign a big player who can actually just, reverse the impact and just make things work there. But I think so with this amount of money, immediate investment, I think so they have to buy a good manager and a manager with a long-term vision. Maybe, just like we said, just like we named many managers, Conte or Zidane, maybe if they do that, that's a concern for every team. Every team needs to be concerned because a good manager with that amount of money and also a promise of many influx of world-class players in the coming years, devastating for the team. So if I was a board of directors, I would definitely have gone after a world-class manager and then maybe thought of the other factors.
Okay, so let's say, Ishan, I give you a world-class manager. Say I'm the board of directors. I'm the Saudi Arabian consortium. I'm the one, and I tell you, Ishan, I'll give you a top-class manager.
Yeah.
And then after that, do you start from defense? Is there where you start that I want solid defenders to start from the back, make sure that we are very difficult to beat, and then get maybe a midfielder, a creative midfielder, then maybe a striker. Is that how you go, or do you go from top to bottom? Get yourself a striker, do with what you have at the moment in defense, or do you say, let's find a defender that we can build, for the future with? Is that how you'd go?
Yeah, I think so. But that somewhat depends on the manager, what kind of football he plays. If it's Antonio Conte, definitely he would play a back three and he would want a defender straight in and a spinal cord for the team who just keep the back three very rigid, and that's how he's going to progress. And maybe he'll get the wing backs then, because it's so important in a Conte system, the wing backs as well, and then he'll progress with the midfield. They've also got some good players, but then the point is, once you get a good manager, even this team, their objective for this season would be just to be in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And with a good manager, maybe if a Conte comes in, they would definitely survive. I mean, with whatever they have, maybe couple of signings, couple of Conte scouting signings in January that might happen, and they would be good. I mean, they would be good. It's very early in the season, and it's not difficult to get out of the relegation battle at this point of time. Just a matter of 3 wins in a row, and you're out.
Yeah, then you're out of it. Yeah,
you're out of it. So manager would be the key, and I believe that, maybe they would go for a world-class manager, let's say for a long-term vision. Just take this team out of the relegation battle for this year. Nobody's going to point fingers at you. Maybe next year we're going to have a few more signings, and then you're going to have a little bit more bigger aspirations. You're proceeding year next year, and you're going to have more signings, and the aspirations are going to go high. So it's going to go like that year by year. It's not going to just snap off your fingers and everything changes. It's not going to be that. Also, very important is that they need to work on the academy as well, academy players. That is so important, because that's the crux of a football club. That's what we call now, looking at the fact that Chelsea, Man City, and other clubs as well, they have their crux well sorted, their academies well sorted. So they have to sort that as well. Once that is sorted, they have the backup players as well. So that'll take time now. That'll take time. It just doesn't be just 1 or 2 years that gets sorted. It takes time, and I think so. A long-term manager or a good manager, even if they take a short-term manager that works, maybe they'll take maybe a Frank Lampard or maybe a Steven Gerrard in, and they would say, just
see us through,
and let us out of the relegation battle. 1-year contract, and next year maybe a Conte comes in and does the magic.
No, 100%. Krishna Bose, I think, is a Newcastle fan over here, saying Shearer is close to Amanda Stevely, and he gave her her advice that 3 to 4 players in January, 1 goal scorer, 1 centre half, and 1 creative midfielder. Man, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be very, very interesting to see the development in Newcastle. Master Yoda is saying, Miz, look at their fixtures, next 4 games, no chance. Here's the thing, Master Yoda, though. The mood could change the confidence of a team. Do not disregard, I'm telling you. I have seen this previously. When a team changes and has this uplift, they become something demonic. They become something
the
crazy.
Atmosphere in St. James Park.
Oh, electric.
Equal to Anfield, man.
Their next game, I believe, is Spurs, and it's a sellout. I will not be surprised if Spurs get beat up like 3-0, 4-0. I will not be surprised.
Possible. Even with this manager, it's possible.
Even with this manager, because this is what happens, man. This is what happens. But ladies and gentlemen, we've had a fantastic conversation. It's going to be epic to, monitor what's going on in Newcastle. I'm sure we're going to talk about a lot more. Guys, we're about 6 likes away from 50 likes. I know it's one of those ones where we talked about a different team outside of Chelsea, but it's a Chelsea fan's perspective, in terms of our reaction. It's been fun. Please smash the like button. Let's get 6 more likes to get to 50 likes. I think that'll be very, very good for the stream. We'll be back tomorrow again with some Chelsea content. Of course, I've just dropped earlier, about 4 hours ago, a Ruben Loftus-Cheek video. Do check that out. It's live at the moment. Do give that a chance. And at the moment, a lot of people are actually watching that. So go give that an opportunity. And tomorrow, or maybe even later tonight, I might drop another Chelsea news. Ishan, my man, thank you so much. We'll be back, Ishan and I, doing live streams next weekend for the Brentford game. Do look out for that. We'll have the watch-along. I can't wait for the watch-alongs. I think it's going to be lit. And a lot of people joined, so do look out for that. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. The information that Ishan's provided, which has been brilliant in the start of the stream, if you want to know a lot more about this particular takeover. And just smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Check out Ishan and his socials in the description as well. Until next time, everyone. See ya.